The organizers of the World Scout Jamboree in South Korea have ended the event early because of an incoming typhoon. Several countries including the UK had already left the international event, blaming high temperatures and poor sanitary conditions at the camp. UK Scouts Chief Executive Matt Hyde said he felt let down by organizers and UK activities had been set back years. The site had become a health risk, he told the BBC. Attended by more than 40,000 young people, the World Scout Jamboree has been plagued by problems from the very start. Hundreds had fallen ill amid 35°C, 95°F, heat, with scouts from the UK among those affected by heat exhaustion. The British group of 4,500 people, the largest in attendance, arrived at the campsite in Samanjung near the town of Busan last week but were transferred to hotels in the capital Seoul on Saturday. The US and Singapore have also already pulled their teams from the campsite. World Scout Jamboree organizers said on Monday that the South Korean government told them it was no longer safe to hold the event, adding that details of the planned departure and venues that will host those who have remained in Samanjung will be provided. Typhoon Kanun, which has already forced evacuations and cut off power to thousands in Japan, is forecast to reach South Korea's southern Jeolla province on Thursday. Coaches of British teenagers started arriving back in Seoul, around 120 miles, 197 kilometers, from the campsite, on Saturday, where they will spend the next week in hotels. Mr. Hyde said the UK contingent was focused on running an engaging program from the capital so our young people still have amazing memories. He said the UK Scouts had raised repeated concerns about conditions at the site but while there were some improvements it was too little too late. Conditions breached 4 red lines around a lack of shade, lack of food for those with dietary needs, poor sanitation and insufficient medical services, he added. We feel let down by the organizers because we repeatedly raised some of these concerns before we went, and during, and we were promised things were going to be put in place and they weren't, he said. If you can imagine, toilets, that are being used by thousands and thousands of people that are not being cleared with the regularity you would expect. You can imagine the sort of things that people were seeing. Relocating 4,500 people has cost the Scout Association well over £1 metre which has come from its reserves, the chief executive said. We had commitments to those reserves that will of course mean that we can't now do things that we wanted to do over the next 3 to 5 years, he said. The BBC has been told that some scouts are sharing 5 to a room, while up to 250 are sleeping in the ballroom of one Seoul hotel due to a lack of available accommodation. The Jamboree, described as the world's largest youth camp, gathers scouts from around the world every 4 years, each time in a different country. Most of those attending are aged between 14 and 18, and 155 countries are represented in South Korea. This is the first Jamboree since the pandemic and was due to run until 12 August.